Welcome to the 2018 Zebulon Chamber of Commerce annual meeting. We're so glad you're here. It's my honor to introduce our MC for the evening. John Clark is the co-anchor of ABC 11 Eyewitness News weekday morning newscast, as well as the co-anchor of Eyewitness News at noon. You may also hear him reporting periodically for ABC 11's evening newscast and other special broadcasts. Prior to ABC 11, John anchored and reported news in Nashville, Tennessee, Wilmington, North Carolina, and in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And he's covered it all: weather emergencies, crime, punishment, political races, consumer issues, human interest stories, and even celebrity news. A native of Philadelphia, John holds a degree in journalism from Penn State University. He and his wife Val are proud parents of adult twins, Jasmine and Matthew. Besides spending time with his family, John enjoys movies, books, and is active in his church. Please welcome a friend of Zebulon, John Clark.
Thank you, Christine, and good evening, everyone. I bring you greetings from all your friends at ABC 11 Eyewitness News. So good to be back with you for another year. And this evening, we celebrate together as fellow chamber members, community leaders, volunteers, elected officials, and citizens who have a passion for this community. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being a part of this celebration tonight. You know, the Zebulon Chamber of Commerce is privileged to partner with incredible businesses made up of dedicated individuals seeking to make a difference in this community. We want you to know who they are and invite you to join us in thanking them for making this evening a reality. First, Chamber Partners. For this evening, they are GSK and U.S. Foods. Developed in 1983, GlaxoSmithKline is our largest local employer, and they continue to grow. They manage more than 50 brands sold through over 100 different presentations. They supply products to the U.S. and export to markets around the globe. Their focus is always the person at the end of their supply chain. Everything they do is to ensure the patient can do more, feel better, and live longer. And U.S. Foods, Eastern North Carolina, supplies the highest quality food and related products to more than 5,000 restaurants, healthcare facilities, hotels, schools, and government agencies throughout Central and Eastern North Carolina and Southeastern Virginia. U.S. Foods is committed to giving back to the communities they serve. Customers in the area include military bases, universities like NC State and Duke, and notable restaurants like Angus Farm, Carolina Ale House, and our own Smithfield Chicken and Barbecue and McLean's right here in Zebulon. Now, visionary sponsors include We Respond, ERA Parish Realty, Victory Lane Quick Oil Change, and Nomeco. We Respond is Zebulon's first master plan community, located off Pippin Road. Their homes offer a host of amenities. Wickland Elementary School is next door to the neighborhood, along with a shared access public park. They are a proud sponsor and supporter of the Zebulon Chamber of Commerce. ERA Parish Realty, established in 1969 by William E. Parrish, the town's first real estate agent. Parish Realty has proudly served Zebulon and the surrounding area for nearly 50 years, while providing premium customer service across all aspects of the real estate industry. Under second-generation family leadership by Renee Parrish Baker, they are proudly continuing to grow while remaining committed to providing premium customer service. Schmidt Auto Services, LLC, doing business as Victory Lane Quick Oil Change. They are locally owned by Joanne and Tom Schmidt. Their son John has helped grow the business, and operations manager Ron Brown handles the day-to-day business. They believe in the growth potential for Zebulon and are working to become an even stronger contributor to our Zebulon community. Earlier this month, Nomeco celebrated the renovation of their headquarters here in Zebulon. With their history of innovation, Nomeco is a leader in the design and extrusion of custom engineered foam products and components for a wide range of markets. Throughout the last 4 decades, the company has earned a reputation as a highly customer-focused, quality-driven company of innovators. And now, enterprising sponsors. They are Duke Energy, Four Oaks Bank, and Comfort Master Heating and Air. Duke Energy has a proud tradition of being an active and engaged community partner. They live in the communities they serve and have a vested interest in helping communities thrive. They invest locally by creating jobs and advocating for smart energy policies that benefit their customers, and employ over 50 team members right here in Zebulon at their operations center. Four Oaks Bank. They will soon be joining forces with United Community Bank. Together, they will continue a shared tradition of service to the Central North Carolina community, keeping decisions local, relationships personal, and service unmatched. Our team will remain rooted here in the local community, dedicated to you and to your financial goals. Comfort Master, your local provider for heating and cooling. I guess more cooling today than heating. Their caring team is celebrating 24 years, and they remain focused on your comfort, your health and safety, and your energy savings. Comfort Master was the recent recipient of one of the top 10 2017 Train Dealer Awards in the East region. Now, event sponsors for the evening. They are ZDAC, that's Zebulon Downtown Arts Council, Vinventions, ERA Parish Realty, Nomeco, All About Garage Doors, and Welcome Federal Credit Union. Please applaud, please, our event sponsors. Groups that have sponsored tables of their staff and invited guests to join us are Rotary Club of Zebulon, Zebulon Women's Club, Do for Him Ministries, Boys and Girls Club of Zebulon, and Four Oaks Bank. And a committed group of citizens who believe in giving back chose to sponsor the recipients for tonight's Small and Large Business Award. Thank you for showing your hashtag Zebulon Love for community. In fact, if you want to do social media tonight, the hashtag is Zebulon Love. Now, other partners include East Wake Academy. Thank you all so very, very much for making this space available to us once again. Can we just give them a special round of applause? We also thank our partners of Capital Production Group, East Wake TV, Zebulon Printing, the Zebulon Times, Sherry Barham, Chuck Robertson, and Wendy Perry. Thank you all very much. You've seen their logos on the screens. You'll also find all our sponsors highlighted in your program, so please take time to look at it. And please join me in thanking them once again for their continued commitment to the economic success of our community. The Zebulon community has benefited from businesses that believe in the value of investing in a local chamber of commerce. So very important. The 2017 chair of the board of directors was Eliza Moore, who is joining me to share a few words. Ms. Moore, would you come? Making her way through the gauntlet.
Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone tonight. It's such a great event. It's actually my favorite seeing everyone out. For me, it's been an absolute pleasure to serve with the Chamber for the last year and meet a lot of the members of the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm excited about this year. We have a great board going forward. We have a great board that I'm leaving behind, but it's been a great experience. So thank you for all coming tonight. Looking forward to a great year as we move forward. Yes. Okay. I want to introduce, I'm going to keep mine brief, but thank you everyone. Thank you to the board of 2017 Great job, so nice work with everyone. And I want to introduce Pat and Allie, who will be taking over this year and working on 2018.
That's the gift.
Thank you, Pat. Here you go.
Thank you, Lisa. As Lisa just said, my name is Pat Alley, and I'm an attorney. I practice law here in town with Andy Gay and Darren Jackson, who's at the second table here. And I've done so for, it's coming up on 14 years this fall. I was telling Denise last week, and some of you in this room may know this from experience, and I suspect the rest of us probably think it, but there are lawyers out there that will talk and talk all night long just to hear their own voice. I'm not one of those lawyers, I don't think, so I'll also keep this brief. I'm very honored to have been chosen to serve in this role as for chair, I guess this year. It's been president in the past, but very honored that my board has chosen me to do that, and Denise has chosen that. I'm well aware of the very high standards that the previous presidents and board chairs have set for me, and I'm confident that with Denise by my side and guiding me, hopefully I can live up to that same standard. So with that being said, thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support for the chamber. If you haven't already, introduce yourself to somebody you don't know, and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat, and congratulations to you. With gratitude from the entire board, chamber staff, and members, we would like to extend our thanks to board members who have served and who have now completed their term. Unable to join us tonight are David Berry with Weaver's Pond and Patricia Wells with Carver Elementary. Please join me in a round of applause to thank them for their service. We also want to express thanks to all who have served the Zebulon Chamber of Commerce. Many of you in this room have shared years of leadership on our board of directors. You painted a vision of our future, and we are honored to now be part of helping continue down that path. Thank you for bringing us up to this point. Our current board members, and would you please stand as I read your name? Geraldine Meckler, Todd Faulkner, Roger Brantley, Nomeko, Farm Bureau, GlaxoSmithKline. And now we'd like to welcome our new board members who joined us in January. And would you please stand as I read your name? Brian White of Edward Jones, Tim Hopkins of Eastway Church of God and Jam's Goodies, and Brian Johnson of Four Oaks Bank. Thank you. On behalf of the 2018 Board of Directors, we are excited about moving forward together for the good of our community. Now we'd like to take time to welcome our special guests. We would like to recognize a few other leadership roles who helped shape the community. Please stand as we take a moment to thank you for all you do. First of all, the Mayor of Zebulon, Pat Medini. Zebulon Commissioners Dale Beck, Don Bumgarner, Annie Jean Moore, Curtis Strickland, and Mayor Pro Tem Beverly Clark. Zebulon Town Manager Joe Moore and Attorney Eric Vernon. Representative Darren Jackson. The Mayor of Wake Forest, Vivian Jones. Our Citizen of the Year for 2017, John Middlesworth. And our 2016 Citizen of the Year, Patricia Robertson. Patricia? Thank you all so very much. We appreciate your service and your commitment to this great community. To all our chamber members here this evening, we say thank you. Thank you for being businessmen and women that we are proud to admire, and for making a difference through your support and the ways you continue to have a positive impact on the economic climate for Zebulon. I'm going to ask Denise to come back and give us some reflection and direction tonight. Denise?
And Jennifer Lane, would you please stand as well? She's our board of directors as well. Thank you. And she represents us for Thank you. So in 2017, we talked here in this room about Come Grow With Us. We told you the story of the bamboo tree. You'll see it on your table, and that placard in the middle. And we talked about the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. There might be a little paper on your table as well. So when you plant the bamboo tree, you don't see anything for about 5 years. You water it, you go and check on it, and then you come back and there's nothing. Year 2, there's nothing. Year 3, year 4, year 5, there's nothing. And then in year 5, the bamboo tree can actually grow up to 80 feet in about 6 weeks. It's crazy. What it's doing, though, in the meantime, is it's putting down really deep roots. And that was what we talked about last year, was we needed to be a tree that's planted. So this year, we're continuing to develop that theme. So for 2018, we're asking you to, yes, come grow with us, because we're strengthening our roots. So if you see that placard on your table or on the presentation there, you'll see that you can see some of the roots that are going in deeper. We invite you to be a part of that. Some reflections that I'd love to share with you. If you open up your first page in your program there, at the top there's some numbers that I'd love to share with you that grow across the top there. We did some really fun ribbon cuttings this past year. It's great to celebrate new business, isn't it? We also celebrated with new members that decided, you know what, we want to be a part of all this great stuff that's going on, so we want to be a part of the chamber and see our businesses grow. So we celebrated new businesses as well. And then as you look across the page, I think to the right, we've got some conversations that were started about businesses that were interested in learning about Zebulon and why would you want to be a part of this. So we just feel like it's good for you guys to see some of those things, to look at some of the things that have been accomplished this year, but also to set the stage for doubling, tripling those numbers this next year. It's a great time to be a part of what's going on in Zebulon. Businesses that have been here for a while are continuing to grow. New businesses are coming to town. We've actually got some brand new entrepreneurs in the room tonight. We had some conversations this last week with some folks who are getting ready to open businesses as well. So just be on the lookout for all of the good stuff that's coming. We also want to make sure that you know that we appreciate those that are invested in our community. Some of you are invested in ways that are not as highly visible, and we're aware of that. We love that you guys are a part of this community, and we love that we get to celebrate you on a night like tonight. Pat was great to encourage you guys to just meet someone that you haven't met before. We set the goal, after last year, we hit around 140 to 150 at this event, somewhere around that. So we set the goal this year to be at 150 to 175, and we were thinking, okay, looking at it, we were coming up to about a week before, watching the numbers, and y'all, we put together all of the name tags 2 days ago and had to rerun name tags today because we were at 196. So hooray! I say that for 2 reasons. One is to say that this community loves supporting business. And for the second reason I say that is this community, there are a lot of movers and shakers here. So if you don't know them, get to know your neighbors. It's a great community. So I will bring Mr. Clark back up for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Well, you know, the snows in January, it seems strange talking about snow after a day like this, but we did have them. Those snows in January rearranged a lot of schedules, including that at our usual caterer, Cook Shack. Brick and Mortar was able to step in at a late date, and they have a wonderful buffet prepared for us this evening. We have appreciated building a relationship with Jerry and his staff there, so please enjoy a few minutes of table talk while staff assists in dismissing everyone by table. And I would like to introduce first, though, Dr. Tim Hopkins to word our prayer. Dr. Hopkins.
Before we pray, I'd like for us to be thoughtful in remembering the tragedy in Parkland, Florida. What a horrendous loss of life of 17 young people at the high school there. And so I want us to, if we will, as we begin to pray, be thoughtful about the victims, the families, the support, the grief counselors who are there to support this community. We are a community. And I believe in times of tragedy, we are drawn together to love one another, to support one another, and certainly we need to pray for Parkland. Let us pray. Our Lord, we gather here tonight to share fellowship, mutual interests, Lord, in the pursuit of a better community. We thank you for the community that we already have. But we realize that being different in our interests and our plans, you've allowed us the privilege of sharing our thoughts, our hopes, and plans for a better tomorrow. With your guidance and direction, we're going to succeed in collaboration and work to leave our world a better place, and specifically our community. There are leaders gathered in this place who are gifted with insight and wisdom, and I thank you for all their gifts that come from your hands. Grace us tonight with your presence. Enable our vision to be complete and encompassing of the needs of the many. And that we'll uplift the hurting, those who are underprivileged, always mindful of their needs. Help us to achieve unity of vision and purpose, that our community will grow in a way that will prosper not only businesses, but families and souls as well. May our conversations, our speeches tonight be seasoned with the richness of love, grace, wisdom, and humility. For all that we can accomplish is founded upon the gift of life and the service that you bless us to have. Thank you for our food. May it nourish our bodies. And the talks which will inspire our hearts with vision and purpose as we anticipate and pray that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. In your name we pray. Amen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, your attention is directed to the staff. Oh, me first. Okay.
Denise. Yeah.
Blake. Tell them about
When we call your table, please make sure to bring your plate. Thank you.
How are you?
Good. I'm sorry. I'm going to
Church had asparagus.
Like some cheese? They don't have it.
Here.
You want it? Got a time here too. There's a time here. So easy.
You do?
Is that some cheese back?
Well, you should. That makes sense. Yeah, I hope you've been on horses too. Yeah, with the drop, I had people calling me all the time. I am.
That's the panel with meat sauce. Yeah, the first one don't have no meat.
Bruce.
Hey, how's it going?
Steve.
Good to see you. What are you doing?
Streaming to Facebook.
Oh, great. I thought we were friends.
I'm going to use it against you later. Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to walk in front of your camera.
You want to be in front, don't you?
Out of here. That'll give you a little bit more space.
Hello there.
I haven't gone that route yet. Yeah, man, you got a big laugh out of it. Big laugh.
Facebook.
Oh, wow.
not that much. I look just never twice, right? I think I'll be
Folks, you can continue your meal, and we will continue the program. Hope you're enjoying yourself. It was delicious. My jacket's a little tighter than when I began this evening. There is another special guest that we failed to recognize earlier, and I just want to take a moment to recognize him. Wake County Sheriff Donnie Harrison, would you please stand? Sheriff Harrison. Glad you're here tonight. Now let me bring back Denise now to give us some some reflections. Please.
Thank you, John. The Chamber's ambassadors play a critical role in what we do, and it's very likely that you are greeted by one or more of them as you arrive this evening. I'd like to ask each of our ambassadors to join me here at the podium, and as they make their way to the front, please help me recognize them for the good work they do, often behind the scenes and always out of a love for this community. They're back there going, really? Because I didn't tell them we were doing this. I just want them to know that they make a difference. They've made a difference in my life personally, and they continue to make a difference in this organization. And we're thankful for them. We have a couple that were not able to be with us tonight, so we'll make sure that they get honored as well. So we want you guys to know that from the board and from our staff, we want to present you with a piece of bamboo tree tonight because of the roots that you have given life to. You give life in this community for all that you do, and we know that by your commitment to what you do as an ambassador, that you're going to continue to grow with us. Thank you very much. Investing in our next generation of leaders is vital to every community's sustained growth, and they truly are the roots of our future. Throughout the year, the Chamber seeks to connect our younger population with businesses that can positively impact them for the future. Our Chamber partners and several sponsors for tonight's event made it possible for several local students to be with us tonight. They're here getting to rub shoulders with you as business leaders and learn from you about the world of business. Would our next gen students please stand? Our folks from Eastwake High School, I met them earlier. Okay, great. There you are. Yay, thank you. So every year, the Chamber recognizes a couple of businesses for their impact on community. They exemplify community support and are a testament to what it means to be an advocate for Zebulon. The 2018 Small Business of the Year is Rested Hinge Marketplace. Please join us here at the front. I just want to share a few words about you guys. They fell in love with our downtown. They came to the Chamber to inquire about starting a business and jumped right in. They saw potential and were willing to take a risk. They quickly realized they needed more space, moved to a larger location, and brought vendors in so quickly that it was amazing. Because they brought life to the original small space that they were in, it was ready for another little business that was quickly becoming looking for a home, and that became Comic World. So not only did they start their business, but they actually made it a great environment for another business to start. Their enthusiasm and belief in the potential for downtown Zebulon is infectious. So we're very delighted to award you with the Small Business of the Year for tonight. one is just a joy for me. I've gotten to know these folks when I first moved here, and actually when I took the role here at the Zebulon Chamber, one of the things that was so fun was my husband told me, oh, we already have stuff from them. So the 2017 large business of the year is Whitley Furniture Gallery. For their storefront has added a new dimension of uniqueness to our downtown. They started a movement with their facade grant and design. Design and style are their signature. Their family friendliness and desire to help people transform their spaces draws people to shop with them from all over the world. Their desire to invest in the future of downtown Zebulon has led to numerous conversations with both the town and the chamber about economic development for our community. And they are absolutely committed to seeing Zebulon pursue the arts through their investment with ZDAC. And for those things, we want to appreciate you and let you know how much we love what you do. Collaboration, and it's also been a new tradition in the last couple of years to partner with the Zebulon Rotary Club for one of their annual recognition awards. Each year, Rotary honors someone in the community with their Service Above Self award, and here to present that for us this evening is our current Zebulon Rotary President, Angela Clifton.
This is the club's highest yearly honor that recognizes someone who demonstrates Rotary's motto, service above self, by actively volunteering their time and talents to help others within the community or beyond. This year's honoree is a husband, a father, a son, a big brother, an uncle, a cousin, a nephew, and a friend. This gentleman's never been a stranger. And if you've ever come in contact with him, you will agree, because he will grab on you and he will hug you. I've already hugged him tonight. He has been around and worked with people from all walks of life, and no one is ever too small or too important. He is a man with strong work ethics. He believes in standing up for what is right, and not just for himself, but for all, always putting others above himself. He founded his business over 20 years ago with the mission of providing the highest quality possible in the Eastern Wake County. His positive, candid attitude, enthusiastic approach, and genuine love of the artistry of construction made him a unique asset to each project he's worked on in his business. Prior to construction, he was a well-known farmer in Eastern Wake County as well. He has farmed hundreds of acres of tobacco, corn, soybeans for many years. In his later years, he's had a green thumb as a vegetable grower, watermelons large and sweet, broccoli and peas, which he's also shared with the community. He has been a mentor to many and has been instrumental in training many people to go on into the workforce and obtain jobs. He's a born leader, respected for both his character and work ethic. He is a family man who has been married to his wife, Patricia, for 44 years. He has 6 children, 5 daughters, 1 son, and 6 grandchildren. Most importantly, he is a man of God, and had it not been for God, almost 3 years ago, certainly he would not be with us tonight. This year's honoree, and I ask him to come up, is Griffin Todd Jr. So tonight, Griffin, I was just telling your daughters, when I first started Rotary, you were important to me, and you welcomed me with open arms. So tonight I would like to present you with our Service Above Self Award by the Zebulon Rotary Club for exemplifying the principles and ideals of Rotary. So I'll go into this. Did you want to say? I'm talking about also tonight, while I'm standing here, we're going to be presenting you with a Paul Harris Fellow pin, multiple pin, because you're already a Paul Harris Fellow. Paul Harris started Rotary, and it is an award that Rotary International provides and recognizes investments that have been made to humanitarian efforts throughout the world. So I want to make sure you know that Griffin was already a Paul Harris Fellow, but tonight he is a multiple Paul Harris Fellow. So tonight Cardell is going to present him with his Paul Harris Fellow pin, which is a very high honor in Rotary.
Scared them when they called my name. Hey, I want to thank you. And you have to excuse me for being absent, but I've been sick. And I may be here tonight. I didn't know, I know there was something that says, come on, you don't want to come down here. But thank you. I'm glad to be here. God saw favor in me. He let me make it through the sickness that I had, the stroke that I had. I didn't know where I was when I had it. But I am here now. And you know what? I am a different person. I've been changed. You haven't seen it yet. But in my heart, it's more love. And I think there's a whole lot of us that need the love that I got in my heart that didn't have it before. I didn't have it before. I got a love now that's anchored in me. It's for everybody. Hey, thank you.
Our next speaker this evening. Lauren Gold joined the Greater Raleigh Convention and Visitors Bureau team in July 2005 and was promoted to Executive Vice President in 2007, where he is responsible for leading the development of strategic sales, services, and marketing programs, including brand management, market research, market communications, IT, advertising, and public affairs. With 20 years of senior sales management experience, Lauren previously held positions in the Washington, D.C. area as Director of National Sales in Wyndham International's National Sales Office, as well as National Sales Manager for Marriott Hotels and Resorts. He founded City Reps Incorporated. That's the country's first company dedicated exclusively to multiple CVB sales representation. He generated meeting and trade show business leads for CVBs in Cincinnati, Houston, Long Beach, Memphis, Minneapolis, Providence, and San Jose. Lauren received Economic Development Award from the Downtown Raleigh Alliance in 2014. He resides in Apex with his wife and 3 kids and is a graduate of Arizona State University. welcome Lauren Gold.
Good evening. Great to be here. First off, I want to thank Denise and Pat and the entire Zebulon Chamber Board for having me out tonight. Denise and I have been working on a few things and communicating over the last few months. So thrilled to get the invite, and just a little kind of funny story to share with you. With a serious tone to it, as I was walking out of the office tonight, I left at about 4:45 for the 20 or so mile drive out to Zebulon. And one of my coworkers said to me, "Where are you headed? You going to the DRA annual dinner tonight?" And I said, "I'm absolutely not going to the DRA annual dinner. I'm going to the Zebulon Chamber. The action is out east." So I got a chuckle out of it. I said, "Look at all seriousness now." So Denise has asked me to come tonight and make a couple of quick remarks. But I'm the guy who shows up at PowerPoint, right? Yeah, for a dinner function. But anyway, I think it'll bring context to you. One thing I do want to make a comment on, the work that we do with the Convention and Visitors Bureau for all of Wake County is important, and we work in parallel with traditional economic development folks like Denise and the Chamber. Our side of the business is about bringing tourism and visitors, and we want to see more of that for Zebulon and East Wake County. So we want to talk a little bit about that tonight and bring some context to that. Two things I do want to call to attention. We appreciate the partnership from the town, from the Mudcats. We were part of an event that came through here back in October, Cycle NC. I think we had about 3,500 cyclists that spent the night at the Mudcats stand or used it as a stop-off point. And then we're thrilled the Greater Raleigh Sports Alliance, which is our sports marketing division's partnering with the Mudcats to help host the June 2018 Carolina League All-Star Classic, which will bring a lot of notoriety to the town. So we're thrilled about that. So once again, we appreciate the partnership. I'm going to jump right in. So I was asked to come tonight and talk about what we're referring to as a destination strategic plan. So we undertook this initiative back in August of 2017. We kicked it off at our annual meeting, usually attended by about 600 of the county's hospitality partners, elected leaders. Mayor Bob, I know you've been a regular attendee of that, and I want to thank you for being there just about every year that I've been with the Bureau. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to set out a path that became a community plan. It wasn't just a plan for the Convention and Visitors Bureau. This is really a community-wide plan, and we need help in developing it. The global firm of Jones Lang LaSalle, those that play in the commercial real estate space may know who JLL is. They were awarded the contract and came in and they've hit the ground running. So I want to take you through just a couple of quick slides and an overview and get you excited about what's to come. So first off, we wanted to look at what was the goal of the Destination Strategic Plan. And really the answer is, and you can see some of the screens here, I'll also verbally articulate it for you as well. But it was really to advance Wake County's overall visitation and enhance the tourism industry. For context, Wake County, the entire county, had 15.6 million visitors in 2016, generating about $2.4 billion in spending to the county. And that's billion with a B. Quite a bit coming into businesses, hotels, restaurants, shops, retail, attractions, and the like. The goal for the Destination Strategic Plan, and it is a 10-year plan. It's not a 1-year, a 3-year, or a 5-year short-term strategic plan. This is a 10-year master plan for the entire county. The goal is to move that number to 19.5 million by 2008. So part of the sub-objectives to that are to increase the number of overnight visitors. It is about bringing visitors in, getting them to stay in our hotels, go out and seek out our community experiences, spend dollars and leave. Whereas in the traditional ED space, it's about bringing people in, bringing in new businesses. So tourism economic development deals with a lot of that. Increase the overnight length of stay. Right now we're averaging somewhere around a day and a half, 2 days. We want to continue to work with the community partners and municipalities to build community experiences and assets. That extends stays. Folks that come in for business, maybe stick around an extra day to check out the communities. Maybe they're even scouting out places to relocate businesses and or places to live. We want to increase the impact of tourism and then generate community impact for new jobs, higher wages, etc. And then transform the community from a destination perspective. And once again, this is a community-wide 10-year approach. Okay? The project approach on this is really to kind of dive in with 3 objectives. We need stakeholder consensus. Stakeholders are all of you. You live here, you work here, you've chosen to live in this community, and you're a resident of Wake County. There's also feedback from the folks that we work with on a daily basis, like the Mudcats or any of the other attractions that are in town, our stakeholders in the hotel community, our stakeholders in the convention center, and the like. Objective 2, we want to come in and look at, and JLL is doing a deep dive into this, the tourism infrastructure and destination development. They want to look at what we currently have, but also what we're proposing. And in some cases, we've got some towns right now that have been very aggressive with looking at some master planning and some new exciting developments. And then objective 3 is to increase the visitor flow across all the channels. So how do you get them to come and stay? And then, of course, move into seeking out restaurants, seeking out attractions. The timeline, and I don't expect you to look at this slide because it's extremely busy, but you can see how extensive this study is. It consists of about 20 different parts. We're about 6 months into the study, a 13-month cycle, with the goal of reporting out at our annual meeting in August of 18. The other goal that comes out of this is on the front end, in the stakeholder consensus, early on in the study, JLL came into town and they met with every town chamber, every town elected leader that was available to meet with them, and they took feedback and they gave feedback, and a lot of it, and it was great. And we hit all 12, they hit all 12 municipalities in Wake County, City of Raleigh, and the other 11 towns. Some building blocks to what they're working on. They took a lot of background research that we had. We do a lot of, about every 2 years, we do visitor profiles. We want to know who the people are that are coming into Wake County, what they like to do, where they like to spend their money. We've done a destination attractive study. We're asking JLL to look at town and city comprehensive plans. I'm pretty certain that town of Zebulon does have that. And then also looking at branding research within the hospitality space. Also taking a deep dive in the artisans and the art community that's in the room tonight. I know some of you were here. They looked extensively at the Wake County Arts Plan and each of the town's arts plan, if there is one that exists. Over and above that, to date they've done 74 focus group meetings within the community, and they've got probably another 40 or 50 to go. Stakeholder survey went out back in the fall. There were about 400 responses to that. We just completed the resident survey. There were over 1,000 responses, and we did get double-digit responses from the town of Zebulon. So thank you for the citizens that took the time to fill out that survey. There will be a full situational analysis of each of the towns. So they're looking at assets and proposed assets and aligning that. And then finally, sorry about that. I turned my page too soon. They're looking at a utilization study for the Raleigh Convention Center. For those that don't know it, the Raleigh Convention Center was the largest project in the history of the county from a funding perspective. So the most scrutiny gets put on the largest project, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, exactly. Some stakeholder survey results with regards to what we got feedback on. And the bigger words, the bigger fonts are what's bubbling up from our stakeholders. So things like parks, museums, downtown, not just downtown Raleigh, but the downtown infrastructure of some of the towns. A lot of the towns around the county are working on that. I know Mayor Vivian, you're working on that heavily in Wake Forest, as are some of the towns on the west. Food and the food scenes, restaurants, and then obviously with the abundance of university and colleges in our backyard, looking at that. Typically in these studies, you look at a SWOT analysis, you're looking at weaknesses and threats, opportunities. Here's a list of them. I'm not going to read them all off. One of the things that I think we can capitalize on with maybe a perceived weakness or threat right now is a small town perception, but I think it's a huge upside opportunity for us. There are things that are good about small towns, and travelers do seek out small town experiences. Other things that bubbled up out of that were some notation towards transportation. The resident survey, which was literally just completed at the end of last month, brought forward a couple things. I just want to show you a few things. So the two primary questions that were asked in the resident survey were based on your perceptions of the appeal of potential visitors. We had asked residents to select the top 3 drivers in their mind of what was bringing visitation to the area. Universities and colleges was number 1. Special events and festivals was number 2, and I know you do some smaller festivals here in town, and there's obviously some bigger ones that have started small and have grown in the county, something to continue to look at. Spectator sports Right in the middle there are some opportunities there with arts and culture and history, including museums. So that was question number one. And then question number two is, what do you feel is needed to make Raleigh and Wake County an even more attractive destination for future visitors? Number one was new transportation options for ease of travel, arts and cultural offerings, and newer expanded attractions and museums. So once again, this is all raw data that's coming in right now. JL is going to continue to work with it and bring it back out. Within the situational analysis portion, let me jump ahead here, sorry I missed a slide. Within the situational analysis, what they're sitting down and looking at, as I previously said, attractions, cultural arts and museums, sports, parks and open spaces, hotels, and lodging. This town, I think desperately, in my opinion, needs a hotel. I've said that since 2005, since I've been here. You were the gateway to the east. I'm hoping that we can continue to work with the east to get that to happen. Within the situational analysis, how are the assets currently positioned? Are there investment opportunities? One of the strengths of JLL is to look at feasibility study and financing, and we'll get some feedback on that. And then what is the highest and best use for big ideas that come out of the community? Where should they be placed? Where are the growth, upside growth opportunities? So these are all things that we're looking at with the key recommendation at the end run of a 10-year master plan. If you would like to still give input to this, you do have an opportunity to do that. There is a URL here on the screen, wakecountydsp.com. You can go to it. You can inquire to it. You can ask for an interview if you feel like you want to sit with one of the consultants and do an interview. If you're a business leader, if this is something that you're passionate about, bringing visitation to this side of the county. You don't have to go through an interview, but you can submit some thoughts and ideas. I'm sure many of you in this room travel around the country and see some great assets in other communities. What would you like to see here, and not only Zebulon, but in the East Wake County? So there's the opportunity to do that through the website. I will close with this thought. As we're sitting in a room of elected leaders and business leaders, to me this was not an original thought, but a really strong one. And for those that can't see the slide, I'll read this for you real quick. And this was crafted by a good friend of mine from Irving, Texas. She runs the Irving, Texas CVB. And it's a circular, almost a circle of life, if you will, an ever-turning circle. In the upper left, if you build a place people want to visit, you build a place where people want to live. And if you build a place where people want to live, you'll build a place where people want to work. And if you build a place where people want to work, you'll build a place where business needs to be. And finally, if you build a place where business has to be, you'll build a place where people have to visit. So I'll close on those remarks. I want to thank you for your time. I'm going to stick around a little bit afterwards if anybody wants to go on one-on-one and has any questions related to this topic. If not, I'm noted up here on the screen. Drop me a line via email. Glad to respond to anybody in the room with additional feedback. Thank you again, Denise, for the time and a few minutes at the podium. Thank you.
Lots of great food for thought there, and take him up on that because he's got some great information for you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue the program tonight, when we talk about pillars of the community, it doesn't get more pillory than Mayor Bob Athene, longtime mayor of Zebulon. He's going to come up to introduce our presenter tonight. Mayor, would you come?
Thank you, Jonathan. Not to be rude, but earlier I thought I was going to have to play the jazz guitar. That's what Pat Metheny plays, by the way. You're right. I make no worse than that. We're good. It's my honor this evening to introduce a really good friend of mine, somebody I have a great deal of respect for, and that's Mayor Vivian Jones of the town of Wake Forest. And a little bit, I've known Vivian for a lot of years, a little bit of her history. I've worked on some of this with her, and so I've been able to see firsthand the effort that she puts into it. But she's on the board of directors of the Electric Cities of North Carolina. She served on the North Carolina League of Municipalities, and any of you that know me know that I served there as well. So I was there some of the time that she was there. She served on CAMPO, Capital Area Metropolitan Organization, and she was former chair of that organization. She's on board of directors of Go Banquet, and transportation is a big need here. So she's working on that. She serves on the Triangle J Council of Governments and is former chair of the Triangle J Council of Governments. But she's been on the Wake Forest Board of Commissioners. She was on there from 1999 to 2001, and has been the mayor of Wake Forest since 2001. We've asked her to speak tonight to talk about what she has seen as Wake Forest has grown from a small town to somewhere 40 to 50,000. She'll know the exact number I want. I don't, brother. But I want her to share those experiences because we're headed down that road ourselves, and we feel like there's something some lessons there that she can help us with. So I'm very proud to call my good friend to the podium, the Mayor of Wake Forest, Big Tom.
Thank you so much for inviting me to share with you about what we've been doing in Wake Forest over the last 15 or 20 years. I'm very proud to be the mayor of Wake Forest, and I love sharing things, and so I'm real happy to be here tonight to talk with you. As anyone who knows me will tell you, the one thing that you can always depend on is that I'll shoot straight with you. So during my remarks, I'm not going to try to pretend that we did everything right in Wake Forest. Yes, we've done a lot of things right, but over the past few years, but there are things that we could have done and probably should have done better. So hold on for the next 10 minutes or so, and I'll share with you, and we'll go on a ride together. First, let me start by providing a little context. It's hard to believe now, but in 1990, we had just over 5,000 people living in Wake Forest. Still, we knew that growth was coming, and it did. By 2001, when I was elected mayor, we had 12,500. Today, we have around 43,000. And I'd swear that every one of them is on the road when I want to go. We estimate that our tax base is approximately $5 billion, with 75% coming from residential and 25% from commercial. I understand that Zebulon is quite different from that. One of the recurring themes that we heard from our residents 20 years ago, and we still hear it today from the new residents, is that we need to keep our small town feel, our small town character. And so one of the ways that we've tried to do that is by concentrating and paying special attention to our historic downtown. Our downtown is relatively small, but as the living room of our community, it's always been the focal point of everything that's going on in Wake Forest. And everyone who ever lived there has eaten a hot dog from Shorty's, who celebrated their 100th anniversary in 2017, being run and operated by the same family all that time. We're really proud of them. Over the years, we've been made sure to preserve our history by naming local and national historic districts. We were very fortunate a few years ago to get into the Main Street program, and I understand that perhaps you are thinking about applying for Main Street status. For several years, beginning in the 1980s, we had a volunteer group of downtown business owners and interested citizens who worked on downtown revitalization. And in the late 90s, they hired part-time staff to help them with their programming and communications. And that certainly helped. And they did good things. For example, they started an Art After Hours program the second Friday night in each month, and other festivals, as you have too. But we realized that we needed to do more, and that Main Street could help us. They offer a lot of support and ideas that would help our downtown flourish. But first, we hired a downtown development director for the town, Lisa Hayes, and she's done a fabulous job. We were accepted into the Main Street program, and Lisa has learned so much and brought so many ideas to us. She tells me that one of the best things about Main Street is the 4-point approach that they recommend. They encourage you to work on economic development, design and appearance, organization and volunteering, and events. Many Main Street organizations tend to focus on events, but that alone does not build the framework for revitalization that you need. We still have the wonderful volunteer organization. Lisa acts as their staff, more or less. They're very involved, but having a program addressing design and appearance and economic development will pay big dividends as you go forward. As part of our downtown revitalization, we dedicated money to a streetscape project along South White Street. The business owners were supportive, but also concerned about people having access to their businesses during construction. These are things you have to think about and address ahead of time, and that means communication, early and often. During our South White streetscape, we gave our downtown merchants and our residents plenty of notice about what was coming. Then every week during construction, we sent them an email with progress updates. Again, they may have complained about the inconvenience caused by the construction, but they couldn't complain about not being informed. It took several months, but the pain was worth it. Our downtown now has wider sidewalks, nice street lights, landscaping. The project was not fancy, but it made a huge difference in the perception of walkability. We get compliments all the time from visitors about how nice our street is. We are getting ready this year to continue the streetscape 2 more blocks south, which will open up the possibility of additional retail and residential for our downtown. I believe applying for inclusion in the Main Street program is a very important step for small communities. In 2009, we adopted our community plan that we had been working on for over a year. You remember earlier when I said I wouldn't gloss over things? Well, we could have done better. This is a good example of what I meant. I can tell you that we were 8 to 10 years behind in developing this plan. Don't make the same mistake we did. The sooner you can get plans started, the better. President Eisenhower once said that plans are not all that important, but planning is absolutely necessary. And he was right. You should never quit planning, but likewise you should never stop reviewing the plans that you have. I think you would be smart to begin working on a community plan at this stage of your growth if you haven't already. And while you're working on the community plan, or whatever you choose to call it, be sure to get the whole community involved. Find out what your citizens want your community to look like in 20 years. Encourage everyone to participate, because when our residents are engaged, they help make our communities better and stronger. Along with your community plan, be sure to review your development ordinances. It was 2013 before we adopted our Unified Development Ordinance, or UDO. We were way behind. The UDO would have helped us get the proper zoning districts established and the proper use standards and overlay districts in place. And it helps with lighting and signage and tree protection and parks and rec dedication and a zillion other things that you have to think about as you begin to grow. By looking forward and planning proactively, I believe you will grow differently than you have in the past. At least I believe we did, and we are. Residential development has changed. We are getting away from 1-acre lots with big single-family homes and seeing more townhomes being built, for example. To that point, I would recommend that you make a decision to embrace more density as you grow. Make your community as walkable as you can. If you already have all these plans, then that's great. But get them out and look at them again and update them again. I recently read in Governing magazine that our roads are jammed and our services are strained. But most urban planners agree that more density is actually a good thing. With density, cars are not used as much, and the tax base is larger to support the services that we need to provide. They also said that they believe urban density can be both culturally and economically enriching. So that's a conversation you can have at dinner one night, okay? Cities need to be more flexible, and tight regulations sometimes can squelch innovations that could enhance urban living. You have a chance to do it right. And I believe Wake Forest could have done it better by planning sooner and by getting buy-in from our citizens in the beginning. We look back now and realize that although we have changed our requirements, we have a lot of development that was done under our old regulations. And sometimes they stick out like a sore thumb. I would recommend that you begin to think about the role you want arts to play. And I noticed you talked about arts some, but keep thinking about the role you want arts to play in your community. We have embraced arts over the past few years, and we have a lot of artists in our area who provide many avenues for cultural programming and participation for the community. 5 years ago, we purchased an old CVS store downtown that had been turned into a dance venue. It's closed right now for renovations and expansion, but it's been a big success. It's sort of a mini convention center. So we're able to have performing arts programs as well as use it for meetings. We're offering programs for kids, for seniors, for special needs families. And we offer it as a rental venue for meetings and weddings and such. Anyway, the arts can be a very real economic benefit to your community. So do not forget to plan now for how you support the arts. One thing I think we do very well is to engage our residents. I do not know if you have a communications director yet or not, but if you don't, it's time to think about getting one. I remember back during my first years as mayor, our website was practically non-existent, and we had one of our clerical employees who was trying to set up a website. And I said, no way. We've got to have a decent website. So we hired a communications director, Bill Crabtree. He's with me tonight. This was one of the best decisions that we ever made. Of course, technology took over like gangbusters about that time, as you all know, and it made it even more important to have him on our staff. Over the years, Bill has built a team that effectively promotes the town and engages our citizens. We utilize several social media platforms along with email and a newsletter to all our zip codes. We also send out regular press releases about all the good things going on, and our residents appreciate it. For example, during the snowstorm in January, we had so many comments from citizens about how much they appreciated that we kept them informed about town operations during the storm. By engaging and informing our residents, we're able to build rapport and trust with them. The other part of this is that we have solicited citizen input for all of our various projects through surveys, public meetings, advisory boards, and Engage Wake Forest, which is our online citizen engagement website. One thing we often say is, as town leaders, we recognize that we don't have a monopoly on good ideas. So we recognize that in order for Wake Forest to be the best it can be, we need input from our residents. Today, our town and our community as a whole is better because our residents have an opportunity to share their ideas as part of our planning and implementation processes. I understand that you have completed your greenways plan, and I'm happy about that because I remember a few years ago when a group from Zebulon came over to Wake Forest to look at some of our greenways. I can assure you that it makes a difference in your community. I hope that you are demanding dedication of easements for greenways when new developments coming in. We have found that our residents love the greenways and want more and more and more. We're now in the position of beginning to connect all of the neighborhoods that have been built over the last 15 to 20 years. We issued a bond referendum in 2005 and again in 2014 to help make these connections. And last year, we opened 3.2 miles of greenway that connected several of our neighborhoods to our downtown. The next big push is to connect all of these trails to the Neuse River pedestrian bridge that we built a few years ago. When that's connected, we will be able to go from the downtown Wake Forest to Raleigh and Cary and Knightdale and meet with the Mountains to the Sea Trail. Our residents love that, and yours will too. Remember that you can receive money from the Campo LAP program, from the Wake County Open Space program, and from North Carolina Parks and Recreation programs. It takes a lot of work and time to prepare applications for these funds, but it's worth the effort. For example, in our bond referendum in 2014, we had $4.6 million dedicated for greenways. The total cost for the projects was $12.7 million. That means that $8.1 million came from other funding sources. So it's important to get those funds and spend the time and effort to get them. You need to get working on it right away because your citizens are going to be demanding it if they're not already. We also did an inventory of our sidewalk system and our road connections. With so much growth, we realized that we had sidewalks that go nowhere except in the community, in that neighborhood. And so we also had roads that ended and did not connect. So we put together a plan to make those sidewalk and street connections. As you grow, the traffic will increase, and it will be important for you to make those connections among neighborhoods, which will allow residents to get around town without getting on your main through streets. I very rarely get on Capitol Boulevard or the 98 bypass or South Main Street to get around town so that I can miss a lot of the traffic that's going on those roads. As I mentioned in the beginning, Wake Forest and Zebulon are very different in terms of commercial versus residential development. You have quite a bit of industry. Wake Forest used to have a couple of industries, but in the 80s and 90s they closed up. And we did have a group of guys from the chamber who formed a business and industry partnership. They bought a piece of property on the south side of town, and developed a small business park of small industrial companies. We realize that we are very unlikely to attract large industrial or manufacturing businesses, so we have concentrated on smaller technology and medical sector businesses, which brings me to economic development. Until 2 years ago, our Chamber of Commerce provided economic development for the town. We were fortunate to have a couple of chamber presidents who had experience in economic development. And the town contributed just under $100,000 for part of her salary and expenses. This worked very well at the time for our community. We were able to attract small companies, particularly in the tech fields and medical sectors. Our chamber president also had a very robust business retention program set up. She would visit several businesses every month just to check in and inquire about their needs. I always was invited to go with her on these visits, and I went to about a third or a half of them, between a third and a half. I just listened as they talked, and I told them that we appreciated them being in Wake Forest, and that I would do anything I could to help them. This program gave us the opportunity to find out about different businesses, what their needs were, what their plans were, and if they were growing and they needed more space, we could help them find new space. We also were able to introduce businesses to each other that they could use as resources for their business. So it was important to talk with them. I believe this type of program is very important, and I think it is important for elected officials to be involved in it in order to connect with local businesses. But even more, I think it's one of the important jobs of local politicians to support and help establish and grow their local businesses. I did talk with Denise about this a little bit, and she told me that she has a business retention program in place, and I encourage you to continue that and to grow it. And I also encourage your elected officials to be involved in that, because I think it would bring positive results for your community. It certainly did in Wake Forest. As I mentioned, 2 years ago, we changed our approach to economic development and hired someone in-house. It was a kind of perfect storm that created this opportunity. The chamber president resigned, and the new president had no experience in economic development. So we felt that with the growth we had experienced, it was time to bring it in-house. You will reach that point at some time, but at this stage of your growth, I think working with the chamber can bring what you need. We found that residential growth, as residential growth occurs, there are certain sectors that follow the rooftops, as they say. Your Chamber of Commerce is very well suited to working with these sectors, mostly retail and service businesses. Your chamber will help you attract the type of retail that you want and need, and the service businesses that you will need as your residential population increases. Finally, Wake Forest is also working hard to become a smart city. This means different things to different people, but what it means to me is that we're increasing our use of data and analytics to use information technology to improve the life of our citizens. It can be something as simple as having a big belly trash cans downtown, or having charging stations downtown or in your parks. Wake Forest has done some of that. Mine and Mayor Matheny's friend, Jennifer Robinson, who serves on the Cary Town Council, and happens to be the director of local government solutions at SACS, has said that not only can analytics interpret data from meters and sensors, it can identify patterns of behavior and correlations between people and places and events. We must take advantage of this opportunity to use technology for our communities. Although I do not know a lot of the people or businesses in Zebulon, I do know you are elected leaders. And you are very fortunate to have leaders who care and who work so hard to promote your community. So thank you for asking me to be here this evening, and let me know if there's ever anything I can do to help you.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. Wow, that's a lot to take in. What would you like your community to look like in 20 years? She said, you have the opportunity to do it right, just as I'll say Wake Forest has done. Well, now our final celebration tonight is the highly anticipated Citizen of the Year Award. Last year, the award went to John Middlesworth. We'd like to take a moment to share some of what he was involved with in this past year and let her know, again, how much he was appreciated. Let him know how much he was appreciated. So, Denise, would you join us again?
So we are so excited. It was so fun to watch the whole year unfold with John Middlesworth as our Citizen of the Year. For starters, it started pretty quickly, right after being with us that night and announcing that he was the Citizen of the Year. John Clark shared it with his staff at ABC 11. So a few days later, we got a call, and one of his folks from ABC 11 came out and did a story on us. And that was really, really sweet. A couple of other things happened. There was a trucker news group that published some information, I believe out of Texas, that published some information about him as well. And then this fall, hopefully most of you have seen the video, there was an amazing opportunity to celebrate him at the Little River Park. And I know the mayor is going to probably share, or has shared, some of the things that happened about that as well. But it's just been fun. And then from our side, on the chamber side, we've gotten to see some of this unfold, but we've also gotten all the phone calls. We got a lot of emails. We got a lot of just curious questions about him. And then most recently, we've gotten fan mail for Mr. Middlesworth from Alaska. He's told us about some fans that have reached out to him through Facebook from, was it Nigeria? Yes. So there are a lot of communities who are watching what we've celebrated from a man who is dedicated to his community, and his dedication to community is what we recognized last year. We didn't recognize it because we were trying to celebrate ourselves. We recognized it because we wanted to celebrate his passion, his love for community. And so by doing that, it's great that the world has seen us. So we have a gift for him tonight. Thank you so much for being such a great Citizen of the Year. So if you would join me momentarily. As we talk this year about strengthening our roots, we have a gift for you, and it's a baby tree. And we invite you to take it home and plant it so that it can dig deep roots as well. And we just want you to know how much we appreciate you. I don't think I can pick this one up. So there you go. And you guys, if you can see it, it's actually starting to bud, which is a sign that there's good growth, right? Yay. So, In 2016, we acknowledged the loss of William Parrish, who started Parrish Realty right here in Zebulon. In 2017, his daughter Renee honored her father by sponsoring the Citizen of the Year award. It's so fitting that someone known for hard work, service to others, and fairness to all continues to be remembered this way. Thank you. I'm pleased to invite Mayor Matheny to join me in presenting this year's William E. Parrish Memorial Citizen of the Year award.
Thank you, Denise. Before I do that, I'd like to echo a little more on Don. If you haven't seen it, if you look on Facebook, Returning the Favor, it's a segment by Mike Rudd. If anybody's ever seen Dirty Jobs, it's really good. They filmed it here. It's really interesting. Mike was obviously a piece of it, and it was all handled by Skype. He was out in California. The way it was put together, I suggest you go and see. And it has had an impact. I think 2 weeks ago, I received a package addressed to me in care of John Middleform, came into town hall. So I was like, no, this isn't for me. So I took it to him, and somebody from New York had sent 2 trash collection bag holders to help him in his daily round. So, you know, the love goes on. And John, we very much appreciate what you've done for the town of Zebulon. Well, we're here again for a new Citizen of the Year, and it is the William E. Parrish Award, who was a good friend of mine and very deserving to name this award for him. I tried to kind of get into this so you don't know who I'm talking about. And believe me, it's hard. Sometimes. And this year was hard, so you might pick up on it rather quickly. Kind of unique. Our recipient this year really isn't a resident of Zebulon. However, they've worked here for 25 years, contributed to the community, and it's just been a part of our community and the success of our community. Always has been willing to support local business, nonprofits, whoever needed help within the community. Speaks to local organizations at their request and participates in many, many local functions. Has assisted the Chamber of Commerce in their 5K run each year. The holiday happenings, Christmas tree lighting, and the Christmas parade. Been very involved in all of this. Also worked very closely with Relay for Life. Our recipient, this is where you give it away. Our recipient oversees our sanitation services, our stormwater system, street and paving projects, and facility maintenance, all of which is vital to the health and safety and well-being of the community of Zebulon. He oversees Community Recycling Day, Zebulon Daffodil Day, and logistics for the Zebulon Night Out. If you've never come to Zebulon Night Out, please come. It's a great affair held in the front yard at Town Hall. This gentleman is a dedicated public servant who always works for the best interest of the community. So I'd like for you to welcome our William E. Parrish Citizen of the Year, Zebulon Public Works Director, Chris Baker.
Wow. Don't know what to say. This one kind of caught me off guard a little bit. And just like my good friend, Mr. Griffin Todd, I think they got the wrong guy, so definitely for this one. To be able to be in the same conversation with a William Parrish, a John Middlesworth, a Patricia Robertson is honoring and very humbling. Just for that. First of all, I want to thank the Board of Commissioners. The past 25 years, you've given me the opportunity to work on a lot of exciting projects, from 5 county stadiums to downtown revitalizations and greenways. They've been fun. I've enjoyed them, so thank you for having the confidence in me to do those things. I'm not one much for speeches, so I might have a story here that Mark mentioned that maybe that I've been able to town 25 years ago. Probably about 15 years ago, there was a night about 2 o'clock in the morning. We were still in the water and sewer business, and we went out with the guys to make a repair. And things were moving on. We mobilized on site, getting ready to make the repair. And my water and sewer superintendent said, "Chris, your phone's ringing. 2 o'clock in the morning, phone's ringing? Can't be another water leak. Hopefully not. Please don't let it be that." It was the mayor. The mayor called me. He said, "Chris," and he said, "Are you out on Wakefield Street or Wedgewood Drive?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, we got a neighbor calling saying that you're a little too loud with the jackhammer, the light tower, and the dump trucks with the backup alarms and stuff." And I said, "Sir, I assure you reassured him, like he told me he did, that I didn't want to be there. I preferred being home in bed with everybody else, but that we'd be done shortly, and hopefully they could get some rest before they had to go to work on the next day." So, I can remember David looking up to me and said, "Chris, your phone's ringing." And I looked down at it and I said, "It's the mayor." And he turned around and said, "Good knowing you, Chris." So, when you get those calls, too, from the mayor. But, of course, our mayor's always been very supportive of me and the Public Works Department, so I greatly appreciate that. There's many a story I probably can tell you over the last 25 years, but one I'll share with you is that it was probably several years ago. It was in my office. I was in the back of the Public Works facility, and Robin, my administrative assistant, who's here tonight, at the time came back and said, "There's a Patricia Robinson in the front lobby." And I said, "Oh my goodness." And she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Well, Patricia is and forgive me for picking on Patricia, because I call her my Zebulon mother. I live in Wake Forest, but she's my Zebulon mother when I'm here. So I love the Robinson family, and everything they've done for Zebulon. But I said, "Robin, you got to go up front and deal with Patricia." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, she's a great woman, and wants this, she's going to want something." And I can't tell that sweet little lady no. And there's no way I can tell her no. So I said, "Robin, you got to go deal with it. Now, Chris, you got to earn this one on your own." So, but it is an honor tonight to be recognized for this. I'm overwhelmed and really appreciate it. So, thank you.
We appreciate you, and we appreciate all that you do. Wow, we're just a couple minutes over, so I'm going to make this really quick. I just want to do a couple of wrap-up pieces for us. I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we are very aware that the fact that we get to be here tonight is because people before us laid the groundwork. There were people that put in time and effort and energy to make things like this happen. There are also people that we want to remember because they've committed so much to this. And every year I try to take a few minutes to just reflect on folks that have passed away during the year that have had an impact on this community. And we are so thankful that we get to continue working with so many of the families of people that we have lost. Mayor Matheny, we're aware that we lost your wife this year. Mr. Jim Debenham's father passed away this year, just recently. And also, we celebrated our William E. Parrish Citizen of the Year Award in honor of William Parrish, and his wife passed away this year, too. So we just don't want to ever forget the opportunity that we can take to memorialize the folks that have made a difference for so many of so many of us, and have given us the opportunity to be where we are. So thank you. So as we talk about strengthening our roots, wow, thank you, Lauren, for what you shared. Thank you, Mayor Vivian Jones, for what you shared. you've given us some good homework. We definitely will get on all that tomorrow, right? Or maybe not. No, actually, a lot of this work is already in process. We are looking at a business retention and expansion plan that's not in place yet, but we do have plans to get that in place. Your town leadership is already working on a strategic plan. So we do have plans for looking at what do we want to look like in 2030, which is great. Our UDO process is already in process, so we are in a good place. When I got to share with you guys 2 years ago, my first year as your chamber director here, I was excited to say that we're in good hands and the relationship between the town and the chamber is going forward. It's made so many more strides this year, and we're just grateful. You guys are all a part of that. There's amazing energy that's going on. Each one of you serves as your piece of being the catalyst for what's going forward, and we're thankful for that. Just really quickly to reflect on some of the things that Mayor Vivian shared with us. There are a lot of good things about being a small town. We've got some of that going on. We do have some of the festivals that Lauren was talking about. We've got May Day in Zebulon. If you look on your table, there's a card. One side has the bamboo story, and the other side has a save the date for May Day in Zebulon. And that falls on Cinco de Mayo this year, you guys. So that is awesome. It'll be a lot of fun. Plan to be a part of that. Returning the favor was amazing, and that's part of economic development for our town. It gets the name of Zebulon out there. And let's see, cultural arts and experiences. Wow, both of you touched on the importance of that. And I'm so pleased, if you walked in the door tonight, then hopefully you got your picture taken in front of a huge banner that was supported by local businesses, and it had a big swirl on there that is the new logo for our Zebulon Downtown Arts Council. I'm very proud of what they're doing. And then we have a gift as you get ready to leave tonight. Something that we're very excited about. Cone Publications is proud to announce that they are bringing the Zebulon Times to Zebulon. So you will receive tonight the first edition, and the partnership that Mr. Cone has struck up between the chamber and him was an opportunity for him to not only promote what this paper will look like, but also to promote some of the things that we've celebrated tonight. So you'll see a really great piece in here about Mr. Middlesworth, about the Rusted Hinge, about our Large Business of the Year, Whitley Galleries, some information about them. It's great, y'all. It's all nice color. So the piece will actually be thicker than this, but this is what we decided to do for our event tonight. As you leave, you'll get one. We were going to wrap them up and put them on the table until nobody would look at them until we were done, but I didn't think that would work. So we decided to just keep them. So you'll get them as you walk out. Our board meets every January to talk about what we want to do. How do we want to put our program of work into place this year? At our January planning retreat, we talked about how do you clarify who you are and where you want to go? What do we need to be overseeing? And how do we grow? I'm so excited. I am very proud to serve this board, and I'm very proud to serve our chamber and DMV staff. Could I just please ask our staff and our board to please stand just for a moment? Let me recognize you. Thank you. There's so much value in strengthening our roots. We're working hard to create that infrastructure. We're making sure that we have good steps. We're partnering with each of you as businesses. We're partnering with the town. The results are not immediate, but they're definitely happening. Signs of growth are just below the surface, so stay engaged. Be part of the movement. Stay connected or get reconnected. We're strengthening our roots in 2018, and we invite you to come grow with us. Have a good evening.
I know, it's like, y'all
the whole time.